4 to 5 lines just to get an idea. Just listen it mindfully. The main theme in Dr. Faustus are the folly of ambition. Folly means that is foolishness. Folly means foolishness. Folly of ambitions, true versus elusive powers, and good versus evil. These two features that we come across: true versus elusive powers and good versus evil. The folly of ambition fosters initially grand aims, quickly give way to pranks and entertainments, showing the folly of his desire to reach for power beyond human limitations. So this is all about the themes in Dr. Faustus in short. Then, what kind of character is Faustus? Or moral lessons in Dr. Faustus. Moral lessons in Dr. Faustus. These are the main points. So before discussing the story in detail, so we must know all these points in a nutshell. These are the main characteristics or features of this drama. Moral lessons in Dr. Faustus. Marlowe's Dr. Faustus teaches us the lesson that life is a straight line, not a circle. If one doesn't advance, one goes back. I mean, one retreats or comes back. Faustus, with his pendular movements, goes and return in an endless move without hope and direction. Without any hope and direction, Faustus marches forward or proceeds on, and at last meets the end in a very precarious way. Well, so this is all about the moral lessons in Dr. Faustus. Then, how would you describe Dr. Faustus as a tragedy? It's a tragedy? Yes or no? It's a tragedy. So how would you describe Dr. Faustus as a tragedy? How would you describe Dr. Faustus as a tragedy? As it is a tragedy. It is Marlowe's best well-known tragedy. So Marlowe's play, Dr. Faustus, is commended, means praised universally as a masterly specimen of the English tragedy. So Marlowe has written in numerous tragedies, but this present discussion happens to be the most important one. So the play marks a clash between the values of the medieval world and the emerging humanism in Renaissance. Do you know what is Renaissance? Do you know what is Renaissance?
Yes, innovation.
So it's a French word.
Re-established something.
A rebirth. It's a French word. It means rebirth. It refers to period in European civilization that was marked by revival of classical learning and wisdom. Simply to know only this one, that is, it's a rebirth of knowledge in literature and civilization. Rebirth. Well, so that is so it's a clash between values of the medieval world and the emerging humanism in Renaissance. The play is found to evoke a unique interest even among the modern plays for its dramatic quality. So this was all about that is how to describe Dr. Faustus as a tragedy. So presenting information, then just now knowing what are the characteristics of a tragic hero, or what are the qualities of a tragic hero. Write down, just listen. So a tragic hero is a male character In almost all the plays of Marlowe, we find they happen to be the male character. A tragic hero is a male character, usually a noble who suffers a reversal of fortune. That is point number one. This is the first characteristic of a tragic hero. The first and foremost character of it. The second point is
First point,
makes
please
it,
repeat.
okay. Thank you. It's a tragic character or a tragic hero is a male character. Is a male character, usually a noble who suffers a reversal of a fortune. Means he tries to go beyond the human limitations, go beyond one's capacity, go beyond one's ability, and at last suffers a lot. And frustration comes. I'm discussing with you what are the characteristics of a tragic hero. Now you knew the first and basic or important feature or quality of a tragic hero. And what is that important quality or a feature? He or she must he must be male character. Usually a noble who suffers a reversal of fortune. Then second quality or second character is makes a consequential mistake. Makes a consequential mistake. Consequential mistake means following as a result of or effect, happening as a direct result of a particular situation or event. Consequential mistake. Then third feature is he experiences a downfall as a result of his hubris. Hubris means excessive pride because of vaulting ambition or unnecessary, unwanted pride and excessive pride. The tragic hero has to suffer a lot also. This is the third quality.
So please can you repeat?
He experiences, one means the tragic hero. The tragic hero, that is the third point. The tragic hero experiences a downfall as a result of his hubris. Hubris means excessive pride. Because of excessive pride, because of vaulting ambition, unexpected ambition, the tragic hero has to suffer or suffers also. The ambition means more than the expectation. Suppose we should be satisfied with whatever we have. But if we just try to accumulate or try to get beyond our limitation, beyond our capacity, so we have to take a lot of pain, and at last we will be insane. Though we are sane, but we have to take a lot of pain and become insane because of our vaulting ambition, excessive pride. So also it happens in the case of a tragic hero. Because of his excessive pride, he suffers a lot. His condition becomes precarious and miserable. Then next point, typically dies in the end. At last, a tragic hero, because of his excessive pride and unwanted ambition or unfulfilled ambition, or because of his frustration, he dies at last, never revives, or just does the life of a normal one, or maintains the life of a normal one. Ruins means dies at last because of his excessive pride, because of his frustration. And then sparks sympathy and fear in the audience. Then sparks sympathy and fear in the audience. That is the next point. Sparks sympathy and fear in the audience. That is the last point of a tragic hero. Sparks means a small fiery particle thrown out from a fire or produced by striking together two hard metals. So sparks. So that is sparks sympathy, means creates sympathy and fear in the audience. These are the characteristics of a tragic hero. So now to know, what is Dr. Foster's flaw? What was Dr. Foster's flaw? Or odds and oddities, or lacunae. What were his lacunae, odds or oddities, or simply to say, what was his flaw? The tragic flaw of Dr. Foster's shows that Foster's downfall is caused by his insatiable passion. Because you might have known, we have a lot of wants. If one want is fulfilled or satisfied, another want comes up its place or takes its place. So in these ways, we are not able to satisfy all our wants. If the first one is fulfilled, so we think of the second one. So in these ways, things carry on or go on. Okay, so here Foster suffers because of that quality, that is insatiable passion, which is completely not satisfied. Because you should be satisfied whatever we have. We should be contented with whatever we have. If we become dissatisfied, we are not satisfied with whatever we have. So we have to march forward, proceed and try a lot and take a lot of pain. And at last, will be regarded as failure ones or unsuccessful ones. So whenever we are regarded as unsuccessful ones or will be declared as unsuccessful ones, failure ones, so frustration will come. And that frustration will lead to or will give rise to different types of other qualities. We may commit suicide or may resort to any type of unlawful activities, illegal activities. These are the qualities or characteristics. Well, so now let's know about what is Dr. Foster's flaw. What is Dr. Foster's flaw? So the tragic flaw of Dr. Foster shows that Foster's downfall is caused by his own insatiable passion. Underline this is the most important line. His downfall is only by his insatiable passion. Inability to distinguish between fantasy and reality. Inability to distinguish between fantasy and reality. Between fantasy and reality. Then, and uncontrollable practice of necromancy, what later bring ruin to his damnation. Okay, so these are the basic features of his downfall. The very first feature is insatiable passion. Second is he is not able to distinguish between fantasy and realism. What is fantasy? What is realism? So takes an overview all the time. Then an uncontrollable practice. Practice means practice. Praxis means practice, uncontrollable practice of necromancy. Necromancy and necromancy and necromancy, what latter bring ruin to his damnation. Okay. Means at last he goes to hell. So because of all these qualities, he goes to hell. Insatiable passion, unable to distinguish between fantasy and reality, uncontrollable praxis means practice of necromancy. Okay, so these qualities just compel him to lead a life in hell. Well, Faustus happens with the main character, the protagonist. Faustus happens to the protagonist of this present drama. So the protagonist, Faustus, is a brilliant 16th century scholar from Wittenberg, Germany, whose ambition for knowledge, wealth, and worldly might make him willing to pay the ultimate price of his soul to Lucifer in exchange of supernatural power. Because Faustus takes a keen interest to learn magical powers. So after learning that magical power, he tries to just apply it before others. How far it is possible? How far am I able to just get everything applying that magical power? Whether am I becoming successful or not applying that magical power? At first he learns that power or grasps that power or grasps, then after utilizes it. So, in exchange of his natural power, Faustus' initial tragic endure is diminished by the fact that he never seems completely sure of the decision to forfeit his soul and constantly wavers about whether or not to repent. His ambition is admirable and initially awesome, yet he ultimately lacks a certain inner strength. He is unable to embrace his dark path wholeheartedly, but is also unwilling to admit his mistake. He goes on perpetrating a lot of mistakes, but he never admits. So that is the first flaw of Faustus. Unless until we admit our mistakes, we accept it, we can't go to the top or apex. We'll go on committing mistakes and mistakes one after another. Unless until we admit it, we accept it wholeheartedly, not half-heartedly. So here Faustus never accepts his mistakes wholeheartedly. That's why he is suffering. He is facing a lot of troubles and difficulties throughout his life. So well, then Mephistopheles is another character, a devil whom Faustus summons with his initial magical experiments. Here Faustus summons or calls Mephistopheles using his magical power. Magical experiment. Mephistopheles' motivations are ambiguous. On the one hand, his oft-expressed goal is to catch Faustus' soul and carry it up to the hell. Now, Mephistopheles' ambition is to just destroy Faustus, is to forfeit the ambition of Faustus. And On the other hand, he actively attempts to dissuade Faustus from making a deal with Lucifer by warning him about the horrors of hell. Okay, many lines are there about Mephistopheles. So time doesn't permit us to just go through all these lines because you also know some other characters. So I knew some lines about Faustus, then Mephistopheles. So Faustus has summoned Mephistopheles using his magical experiments. But Mephistopheles' inner aim is to destroy Faustus, is to kill Faustus. Then Chorus, a character who stands outside the story, providing narration and commentary. The chorus was customary in Greek tragedy. These are the lines about that. Stands outside the story, providing narration and commentary. He just narrates and gives comment on different characters. Then good angel, a spirit that urges Faustus to repent for his pact. Good angel is a spirit that urges Faustus, compels Faustus to repent for his pact with Lucifer and return to God. Along with the old man and the bad angel, the good angel repents. Sorry, the good angel represents in many ways Faustus' conscience and the divided will between good and evil. So now good angel represents Faustus' good will and good conscience, and bad angel represents Faustus' bad conscience. Means he always compels or impels Faustus to accomplish some bad activities, or unlawful illegal activities, and how to meet at the end. Then Lucifer, the prince of devils, the ruler of hell and Mephistopheles' master. Lucifer, the prince of devils, the ruler of hell and Mephistopheles' master. Means Lucifer orders Mephistopheles, you do all these activities, so persuade Faustus to do that work or take him in doing that work in that way. Okay. So all these guidances and advices are advised by Lucifer to first Mephistopheles, and at last Mephistopheles acts accordingly, being guided by Lucifer. Because Lucifer is the ruler of the hell. Ruler of the hell. So who is the ruler of the hell? A devil might be the ruler of the hell. A harmful person, a evil person, not a good one. Then old man. So now you knew about these characters. Faustus, Mephistopheles, Chorus, good angel, Lucifer, and next one is old man. Old man. So old man means old man, an enigmatic figure who appears in the final scene. The old man urges Faustus to repent and to ask good and for mercy. He seems to replace the good and evil angels, who in the first scene try to influence Faustus' behavior. Then Wagner. Faustus' servant Wagner uses his master book to learn how to summon devils and work magic. Wagner, Faustus' servant. So he is guided by Faustus. But Faustus orders that he very politely obeys it and does it also. Then clown, a clown who becomes Wagner's servant. Wagner is Foster's servant and clown is Wagner's servant. The clown's antics provide comic relief. He is a ridiculous character and his absurd behavior puts him into trouble. Foster's behavior comes to resemble that of the clown. So Foster's behavior resembles that of the clown. A clown seems to be very ridiculous and also Foster's seems to be very ridiculous. So it matches. So the character of both is matching, not mismatching. Then Robin. So a lot of characters are there. Innumerable characters are there. So needless to go through all this. Simply you know some important. Just I'm reading out the names of these characters. I read out. So Robin, then just wait. Then Rape, then Vals and Cornelius. Okay. So they are the characters. So it's time to conclude now. Well, so let's listen about the story of the Dr. Foster's in nutshell. What are the activities that occurred or happened from the very beginning till the end of Dr. Foster's? Okay. So that is the story of Dr. Foster's. In nutshell, just time presenting for just listening. Summary of the play means it is also known as summary of the play or story of Dr. Foster's. Foster was born in a poor family in Rhodes. He was educated in Wittenberg because he was a Wittenberg scholar. He was a scholar of Wittenberg of France. He was educated at Wittenberg with the help of some relatives. Okay, perhaps he was staying with them and they just take care of him, and because of them, he became a scholar of that area. There he became a doctor of divinity. Who there Faustus became a doctor of divinity and was renowned as a great scholar. Because from the very beginning I have been saying he happens to be a great scholar of Wittenberg, and there he was renowned as a great scholar. He was proud of his knowledge and like Icarus tried to overreach himself. Icarus is an imaginary figure you might have known. So how Atlas died because of his unfailure attempt. Therefore, he conspired with the devil and was criticized forever. Because of just like Icarus, Faustus tried to overreach, tried to go beyond his limitation, go beyond his capacity. That's why he conspired with the devil, means established relationship or established a rapport with the devil and was criticized forever. You might have known whoever he or she may be, if establishes a pact or a rapport with the evil ones or bad ones, he or she has to suffer at the last, means in the long run. In the long run or at last, he or she has to suffer. That is 100% right. Because he or she must be guided by the motives of the evil ones, bad ones. Automatically it happens in these ways. So the same thing here happens in case of Faustus. He just establishes his contract or intimacy or cordial connection with the devils. And you know what is the intention of the devil or devil ones? To destroy or uproot the good ones. So at last, Faustus was criticized forever. In the beginning, we find Faustus feeling frustrated with his knowledge. In the beginning, we find Faustus frustrated, feeling frustrated with his knowledge because perhaps he is not satisfied with his knowledge. That's why from the very beginning I have been saying we should be satisfied whatever we have. We should not go beyond our limitation. But here Faustus did that. As he was not satisfied, so he wanted to do something new, taking the help of someone or applying his own knowledge. The study of medicine fails to conquer death. Faustus had already known that because he at first was studying medicine. He knew that the study of if I continue in that line, if I take it up, so the study of medicine will not conquer death, will not defeat death, or will not take a thorough control over death. Lawyers, he feels, exploit others for petty amounts and are not free. So now the Faustus goes on thinking different occupations, thinking about different occupations. If I just resort to that occupation, if I incline to that occupation, if I accept that occupation, then what will happen in the long run? So now all these thoughts knock his brain and he's in a dilemma. What to do, what not to do, what to accept and what to reject. So he just goes in thinking about different types of occupations. So about lawyers also Faustus thinks or speculates that if he becomes lawyers, what will happen? The lawyers exploit others for petty amounts, negligible amounts that are not very rich and are not very rich. So at last they can't be regarded as rich because of their illegal practice. Then theology, he feels, is not of much use. All the people are sinners and therefore they are bound to die. Whenever people commit mistakes using the name of gods or taking the name of gods, so at last they have to also die because at last God is not pleased on them or satisfied on them because of their illegal practice also. So nothing can save them from sin and death. So man cannot be escaped from sin and death. What Faustus speculates or guesses. Then what to do at last? So he turns to black magic. Whenever Faustus goes on thinking about different types of professions, if he accepts that profession, in what way he is going to be benefited, if he rejects, or what is the or what are the bad qualities of that profession. So how to accept and how to reject everything. He all the thoughts knock his brain, and he goes on thinking about all these professions. So at last, Faustus have plans that he wants to resort to black magic, which he feels can make him a demigod. If he becomes expert in that profession, so declare him as a it will declare him as a demigod, means half god, not full god. see, so it's time to leave now. Lines about that man, uh, about whom we are going to deal with. The most influential writer in all of English literature, William Shakespeare, was born in 1564 to a successful middle class globe maker in Stratford in Avon, England. In 1582, he married an older woman, Anne Hathaway, and had three children with her. Around 1590, he left his family behind and traveled to London to work as an actor and a playwright. Public and critical success quickly followed, and Shakespeare eventually became the most popular playwright in England. So, needless to go through a lot. That's enough, just to have an idea about this famous personality. So now, what is the, because everything just have to taught in nutshell, nutshell in short, in order to make you clear, not clear, rather crystal clear. So now to know what is the main theme of Midsummer's Night's Dream in 4 to 5 lines. Then after we have to discuss the characters. Then after we have to go to that's just know some lines about the Act One, Scene One, Act Two, Scene Two in these ways. In short, then after some important questions. In these ways, we have to come to an end. So now, what is the main theme of a Midsummer's Night's Dream? Or in the main themes in a Midsummer Night's Dream are love. So the main theme I'm discussing with you are the main themes, or discussing about the main themes of the present discussion. The main themes of Midsummer Night's Dream are love, imagination, and patriarchy. Love, Shakespeare portrays romantic love as a blind, irrational, because present discussion of the story revolves around the romantic love. Love, Shakespeare portrays romantic love as a blind, irrational, often beautiful force that can be both cruel and forgiving. Ultimately, love drives the play's entire plots. Means love revolves around the play's entire plot. So now, what is the setting of Midsummer Night's Dream? What is the setting uh, of the present discussion? A Midsummer Night's Dream takes place across two settings. So it takes place across two settings. The first one, the court of Athens, and the second setting, the woods. So in between, almost all the happenings or activities take place. Then, what type is a Midsummer Night's Dream? What type? Means what type of play is it? What type is a Midsummer Night's Dream? A Midsummer Night's Dream is an example of Shakespearean comedy. It's an example of, means it's a comedy. So it's a comedy in telling telling the story of several sets of lovers, because here we have to come across several set of lovers, means a great deal of lovers who must overcome obstacles. They have a lost, they have a lot of obstacles to face at the very outset, and misunderstandings before they are finally united in marriage. So before they're finally united in marriage, they have to come across or face a lot of obstacles. Then why is it called a Midsummer Night's Dream? Why do we call that present setup of play a Midsummer Night's Dream? So now we knew what type is a Midsummer Dream. Midsummer Night's Dream. So it's a comedy, romantic comedy by Shakespeare. So now to know why is it called a Midsummer Night's Dream? Means why do we entitle it as a Midsummer Night's Dream? The title of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream has both literary and social significance. So it has both literary and social significance. The title tells the title itself that the Midsummer Night's Dream, the present ongoing discussion, the title tells the audience right away that the play is going to deal in some way with a sort of a dream on a summer night. Almost all the characters are about to dream at that time, means at the summer night. To dream, a person must be asleep. To dream, a person must be in deep sleep. However, most of the characters are awake throughout the play. Throughout the play, means stop sleeping throughout the play. While dreaming, they stop sleeping throughout the play. But actually, to see a dream or to dream a dream, one has to be in deep sleep. However, most of the characters are stop sleeping throughout the play. And why Midsummer Night's Dream is a comedy? Why do we call it as a comedy? So, what are the reasons for which it is regarded as or considered as a comedy? So now just I am presenting some important points, to make you clear. Just why Midsummer Night's Dream is comedy. At the end of the play, Titania and Oberon, they are the characters. So after that, I'm going to discuss about some characters with 2 to 3 lines. What are that accomplishments, everything in 2 to 3 lines. At the end of the play, Titania and Oberon are reunited. Lysander marries Hermia and Demetrius marries Helena. Along with witty wordplay in the dialogue, because of the expression of the, or because of the witty expressions in the dialogue, technical use of some words in the dialogue, and the humorous
Excuse me, sir.
confusion. Hello, witty use of words.
Excuse me, sir.
Witty use of, because of the witty use of words in the dialogue. Witty witty word play in the dialogue, and the humorous confusion that the love portion causes these marriages, so that a Midsummer Night's Dream is a Shakespearean comedy. So these are the reasons for which we call it as a Shakespearean comedy. So now, what is the conclusion of Midsummer's Night Dream? What do we come across at the end? We knew everything about the outset. So now, what do we know? It's at the end. So at the conclusion of Midsummer Night's Dream ends with several happy weddings. It ends with several happy weddings. Though at the outset, almost all the characters face a lot of impediments or obstacles, but at the end, everything disappears and all are reunited happily. But even the joy of the closing celebrations doesn't completely banish the play's threatening undercurrent. Still, some characters or some elderly persons are there to threaten the junior characters. Still, it is portrayed at the end also. Well, so this was all about some important points or settings, or why do we call it as Midsummer Night Dream, or what do we call it as the romantic comedy, and what are the conclusions, or what are the main themes of that Shakespearean comedy, everything that you know now in nutshell. So now to know about some important characters, because here we have a lot of characters. Needless to know all this, only just we will be in touch with some important characters. So about characters, just I'm going to present with you some lines about the characters of Shakespeare in the present setup. In William Shakespeare's comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, in William Shakespeare's comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream, characters make countless failed attempts to control fate. Because you know there is a proverb called "What is fated cannot be blotted." If we just violate that rule, so we will be duly punished as per the law, as per the cosmic uh, procedure. So here the characters make countless failed attempts. They go on committing many mistakes to just reach the goal, but at last they fail. They become unsuccessful. So that's why countless failed attempts to control fate means to bring fate under their control. Many of the male characters, including Aegeus, Oberon, so they're called the male characters. Aegeus, Oberon, and Theseus. Aegeus, Oberon, and Theseus. Aegeus, Oberon, and Theseus uh, are insecure. They feel insecure. These male characters feel insecure for female obedience. They feel insecure because of female obedience. The female characters also display insecurity. So both uh, feel insecurity. The male characters feel insecurity as well as the female characters also, but resist obeying their male counterparts. These differences emphasize the play's central theme of order versus chaos. Because here just we come across a pair of lovers who are the very outset falls in love with each other, but in the middle part of the play, everything becomes topsy-turvy, and at the end also, uh, happy reunion takes place or occurs. So a complete reversal that we are coming across from the very beginning till the end. So now to know some important characters. The very first and foremost character that we come across in the present discussion of Shakespeare, that is Hermia. Hermia. Hermia is a feisty, confident young woman. Feisty, confident young woman from Athens. So all the characters belong to Athens. All the characters belong to Athens because Athens is the capital of Greece. Athens is the capital of Greece. Feisty means of a person, typically one who is relatively small, lively, determined, and courageous. Lively, determined, and courageous. Small, but lively, smart, determined, and courageous. So Hermia is a feisty, confident young woman from Athens. She is in love with a man named Lysander, Lysander, but her father, Aegeus, commands her to marry Demetrius. We just try to know what is the relationship going on in between or among. She is in love with a man named Lysander. Who? Hermia falls in love with Lysander, but Hermia's father, Aegeus, Aegeus commands her to marry Demetrius, goes against her will. Hermia refuses confidently, opposing her father. But Hermia never accepts what her father finalizes or speaks. So, so she opposes her father's decision. That's all. Enough. Then Helena, because if we just discuss the particular character, Hermia, it may take more than 15 to 20 minutes. So because we'll be touch with some other characters, then after the story, then some important questions, everything within this short span. So needless to know, all this taking a lot of time about discussing a particular character, Hermia. So now, touching to Helena, Helena is a young woman from Athens, because almost all the characters here belong to Athens. As you know, the two settings of the present discussion. So the two settings are, one is the country of Athens, another is that the woods. So almost all the characters belong to that country, Athens. So Helena is a young woman from Athens and a friend of Hermia. Okay, Helena is the friend of Hermia, as previously you know. Just you knew, uh, she was betrothed to Demetrius. She was betrothed to Demetrius. She was betrothed to Demetrius. Betrothed means the father and mother came to the room and gave the betrothed couple. Sorry, betrothed means the person to whom one is engaged. Someone means a person to whom one is engaged. The sentence is, the father and mother came into the room and gave the betrothed couple their blessings. So understand better just listening this sentence. So that is betrothed. For the first time, one who is engaged with the another one. So she was betrothed to Demetrius until he left her for Hermia. And she remains desperately in love with him. During the play, both Demetrius and Lysander fall in love with Helena. You see, during the play, both Demetrius and Lysander fall in love with Helena. As a result of the love potion, but Helena can't believe both men are actually in love with her. Whenever two persons fall in love with the same one, so the girl just doubts whether who is the best and most suitable one. Well, so but Helena can't believe both men are actually in love with her. Instead, she assumes they are mocking her. They are just mocking means that is they are mocking her. So that's all about Helena. So now to know about Lysander. He's a young man from Athens. So now we knew about two young women of Athens, Hermia and Helena. So now about Lysander. Lysander, Lysander, he's a young man from Athens who in love with Hermia. Also, Lysander falls in love with Hermia. He falls in love with Hermia at the start of the play. Means at the very outset of the play, Lysander falls in love with Hermia. Aegeus, Aegeus, Hermia's father is Aegeus. Accuses Lysander of bewitching the bosom of his child and ignoring that Hermia is betrothed to another man. So now about Demetrius. Just I'm planning before you some important lines about these characters in 4 to 5 lines. So now Demetrius. So they are the main characters. That's just I'm describing 4 to 5 lines about all these important characters. Demetrius, he is also a young man from Athens. As earlier I told, all belong to Athens. He is a young man from Athens, was previously betrothed to Helena, but abandoned her in order to pursue Hermia. That's about all. Then Puck, the another character. Puck. Puck is Oberon's mischievous and merry jester. Jester means a professional joker. Puck is Oberon's mischievous and merry jester. Technically, he is Oberon's servant. Puck is Oberon's servant. He represents the forces of chaos and disorder. That's all about Puck. Then Oberon is the king of fairies. Oberon happens to be the king of fairies. After witnessing Demetrius, after witnessing Demetrius' poor treatment of Helena, Oberon orders Puck to repair the situation through the use of a love potion. Love potion. Potion means a liquid with healing, magical or poisonous property. So healing potion through the use of love potion. He demands obedience from his wife Titania. Then Titania. Titania is the queen of fairies. Oberon is the king of fairies and Titania is the queen of fairies. She recently returned from a trip to India where she adopted a young challenging boy whose mother died in childbirth. So the mother died. So after the death of the mother, uh, Titania just adopts that child and takes care of him. Then Theseus, then Theseus. Then Theseus. He is the king of Athens. Oberon is the king of Pharis. Titania is the queen of Pharis and the wife of Oberon also. And Theseus is the king of Athens and the force of order and justice. Theseus takes pride in his strength. As king of Athens, so he had a lot of strength and might and able to defeat almost all the strong persons. Theseus takes pride in his strength. He only appears at the beginning and end of the play. So we come across that character at the very outset, and he exchanges her feelings, thoughts, ideas, sentiments with others for some time, and again disappears, and again appears at the end of the play. So now Hippolyta, also the most important character, she fellow. Hippolyta is the queen of Amazons. Hippolyta is the queen of Amazons, and Theseus' bride. He is Theseus' bride. The Amazons are a powerful tribe. So, who are Amazons? The Amazons are a powerful tribe. They belong to a powerful tribe led by fearsome women warriors. Fearsome women warriors. And as their queen, Hippolyta, represents a threat to the patriarchal society of Athens. Then Aegeus. He is Hermia's father. Aegeus is Hermia's father. As earlier you knew about Hermia, is a feisty, confident young woman from Athens, very strong, lively, determined woman of Athens, means from Athens, falls in love with Lysander. So now talking about that Hermia, he is Hermia's father. Aegeus is Hermia's father. At the start of the play, Aegeus is engaged that his daughter will not obey his wishes to marry Demetrius. Actually, Aegeus wanted that her daughter should marry Demetrius, but Hermia is not in favor of that, denies. Then Bottom, the last character. Bottom, perhaps the most foolish of the players, means of the characters. Nick Bottom. Nickname is Bottom. Nick Bottom gets wrapped up in the drama between Oberon and Titania. So they're all the characters. Two or three more characters are there. Let's know minor characters. So now you knew almost all the major characters: Hermia, Helena, Demetrius, Lysander, Puck, Oberon, Titania, Theseus, Hippolyta, Aegeus, and Bottom, the last. So now the story or summary in itself, because summary is also very, very important. Unless until you know the happenings or the occurrences from the very beginning till the end in itself, so you can. Okay, so now the story or
Excuse me, sir.
summary. Okay,
Sir, who is the protagonist?
protagonist of the play.
Yes, sir.
Protagonist is that is uh, Lysander. Lysander.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. You see now, Shakespeare's mission item. That's the summary of the play. Summary of the play. In the opening act of the play, means at the very outset, preparations are being made for the marriage of Theseus. Now preparations are going on to fix up the marriage of Theseus, Duke of Athens. Duke of Athens. Duke of Athens. Duke means a male holding the highest hereditary title in the British and certain other peerages. A male holding the highest rank. A male holding the highest rank in the British country. So, the Duke of Athens with Amazonian Queen Hippolyta. The marriage is to be solemnized 4 days later. Aegeus, an Athenian citizen, enters to make a complaint against his daughter, Hermia. She had been betrothed to Demetrius. She had been betrothed to Demetrius, but her heart has been won by Lysander. Aegeus asks Duke Theseus, because now we are going to fix up the marriage negotiation of Theseus. So now Aegeus asks Duke Theseus, if the law of Athens giving to parents the right of disposal of their daughters in marriage and permission to put them to death in case of disobedience may be enforced in his behalf. Hermia is told by Theseus that in case she refuses to marry Demetrius, Hermia is told by Theseus that in case she refuses to marry Demetrius, the only alternatives are death and seclusion in the nonary. Nonary means a building or a group of buildings in which nuns live. Nuns live. A building or a group of buildings in which the nuns live as a religious community. So, they decide that if our marriage negotiations become unsuccessful, or we are not able to set up the marriage negotiations, so the only alternative are death, or alternatives. The only alternatives are death and seclusion in the nonary. Seclusion means the state of being private and away from other people, to lead a single life, lonely life. The state of being private and away from other people. So seclusion in the nonary. At this, she prefers the latter alternative. Means just so here the former and latter. Former always stands opposite to latter. So here the former is death and the latter is seclusion. So she prefers to seclusion, means the state of being private and away from others. So at this she prefers, means Hermia prefers the latter alternative. Lysander, however, on being left with Hermia, persuades her to another course. This course is of escaping with him to a place remote 7 leagues from Athens. So they decided that if just we reside far away from Athens, then we'll feel secure. There they would be beyond the reach of law, because if one is disobeying uh, the law or the regulations of that country prevailed in that country, so one must be duly punished. So in order to escape themselves from that law, so they wanted to live in the nonary, means a building or group of buildings in which nuns live, so that they would be beyond the reach of law. As such, they might be safely married. So there they can stay for a long time and also marry safely. This plan of theirs, means this plan of theirs, Hermia considers to her bosom friend Helena. As you know that Hermia's most confidant is Helena. So the latter in turn confides it to Demetrius, with whom she was in deep love. Prior to that, she was in deep love with Helena. So the two lovers, Hermia and Lysander, the two lovers, Hermia and Lysander, so now they fly to the wood. From the nunnery, they fly to the wood. They leave that place and stay in the wood, because here two settings that we come across. One is the Athens, country of Athens, another is the wood. So now the two lovers, Hermia and Lysander, pass through a wood in the neighborhood of Athens. Theseus and Hippolyta, Theseus and Hippolyta, you know about Theseus and Hippolyta is the queen of Amazons and the Theseus' bride. Hippolyta is the queen of Amazons and the Theseus' bride. Theseus, you know about Theseus? He's the king of Athens. He's the king of Athens. And Hippolyta is the bride of Theseus. So now Theseus and Hippolyta, on their wedding night, the wood happens to be one of the haunts of Oberon and Titania. That particular wood happens to be the most living place, most favorite place, means where they come and stay there for a long time. That is called haunts. So the wood happens to be one of the haunts, means favorite place of Oberon and Titania, king and queen of Paris respectively. As you know that Titania is the queen of Paris, and Oberon is the king of Paris. Oberon is the king of Paris and Titania is the queen of Paris. So, king and queen of the Paris respectively. At the present moment, their majesties have fallen out about the challenging boy. The boy is stolen because you know Titania has already adopted a child, has already adopted a challenging boy whose mother dies in childbirth. But Oberon just stands as an obstacle in accepting that challenging boy, but Titania denies the fact. So the boy is stolen by the fairies from the household of an Indian king. Titania wants him to keep with herself. Likewise, Oberon wants the handsome boy. Because he would like this boy to serve him as his page of honor. So Oberon determines to carry his point. he resorts to a strategy and commissions. Commissions means orders. Commissions means an instruction, command, or role given to a person. So he resorts to means accepts a strategy, and commissions means plans. Poke a mischievous spirit in his service. Poke is a mischievous spirit, as you know from the earlier that Poke, P-U-C-K, from the very beginning I have already discussed. Poke is obedience, mischievous, and merry jester. Means happy joker, professional joker. So Poke a mischievous spirit in his service. He orders the spirit to smear the eyes of the sleeping Titania with the justice of a particular, with the juice of a particular flower. Using the juice of a particular flower, he orders the spirit to smear the eyes of the sleeping Titania. So in these ways, many activities have already taken place among the characters between as well and also among the characters. So now Pock's mistake brings complications in the play. Pock's mistakes, Pock might have committed many mistakes, and all these mistakes bring complications in the play. Pock is now away in the search for the flower eagerly, because already he has been ordered to bring a flower, and using that flower he has to smear the eyes of that sleeping Titania. So now he just leaves that place in order to search a flower. In the meantime, Helena and Demetrius come to the spot. Whenever Pock has left that place, that time these two characters, Helena and Demetrius, come to the spot. Oberon overhears Demetrius hurls a rejection of love. Oberon, as you know, the king of fairies. Oberon is the king of fairies. Oberon overhears Demetrius' earliest rejection of love. He determines to use the justice for the purpose of compelling the disdainful youth to return to his allegiance to the sweet Athenian lady. On the return of the Pock, means when the Pock returns, comes back, Oberon squeezes the flower on Titania's eyelids, because he has already come with that flower, and as being ordered previously, as by as has been ordered by Lysander, so he squeezes the flower on Titania's eyelids, and Puck goes upon the same errand to Demetrius. Goes upon the same errand to Demetrius. Immediately, Hermia and Lysander come upon the scene. After wandering about the wood for a long time, Hermia and Lysander, now they have taken rest in the wood. So immediately Hermia and Lysander come upon the scene. After wandering about the wood for a long time, they lay themselves down to sleep upon the grass. Puck enters and sees the pair. He takes Lysander to be the Athenian of whom Oberon had spoken, and promptly anoints his disturbs his eyes with the magic juice. A moment later, Demetrius and Helena reappear. Lysander wakes up and pours forth protestations of love for Helena. He abandons for her sake the sleeping Hermia, as she means Helena is the first being that comes to his way as he wakes up. Okay, so many lines are there about this Act 1, Scene 1, Act 2, Act 1, Scene 2 in these ways. So needless to say all these. So now to know some important uh, questions that are very required for all of you taking your examination into account. So see, Shakespeare calls that present discussion a Midsummer Night's Dream as a romantic comedy, or a Midsummer Night's Dream has love madness as its central theme. It's a romantic comedy, famous romantic comedy, and also it is entitled as Love Madness. Means love and madness, these two words center around or revolve around the central theme of that play.
Sir, what is a romantic comedy?
Romantic comedy means uh, uh, romantic comedy particularly involves a love affair. It's
So
nothing
can
rather
you
love affair. It is
speak the question again?
so romantic comedy particularly involves a love affair. It's nothing. Needless to know a lot about. Only it's a love affair. Almost all
Then
the both the pairs uh, go on wing, or it is its specific occupation with wing which distinguishes it evidently from classical or Roman comedy. Okay,
So
sure.
can you please say
Love.
answer like again the question? I couldn't write.
sir,
So now just I am discussing with you uh, romantic comedy. Love is the product of imagination. Love is the product of imagination in the play of Shakespeare. It is the opposite of reason. In Act 5, Scene 1, in Act 5, Scene 1, Shakespeare seems to put forward these views very clearly through Theseus. The lover, the lunatic, and the poet are grouped together because of an essential similarity between them. This similarity is their creative imagination, which creates fantasies that can never be conceived by the cool region. Their imagination is compact and concrete so that they can see absent things as if they're actually present. So, romantic comedy is nothing rather involves a love affair. So, it is completely different from classical or Roman comedy. Classical dramatists dealt freely with amorous intrigues, means amorous interplays between young men and girls. However, solicitation, as in a social comedy, is a social institution, whereas wooing is a mystical experience. Love madness, as earlier I told, uh, it has the central theme of this play is love and madness. Also, it is coming under this romantic comedy. Love madness has been regarded as romantic love in this play. Love madness has been regarded as romantic love in this play. It is the opposite of a reason. No time is allowed for the exercise of a reason. So these are the characteristics of romantic comedy. It is the opposite of a region. No time is allowed for the exercise of a region. Whoever loved and loved, not at first sight, it is sight which is verbally connected with love in the play. Hermia insists that she would marry Lysander alone. Theseus tells her that Demetrius is a worthy man and her father's consent makes him worthier. Theseus tells her that. Theseus tells to Hermia that Demetrius is a worthy man. You never think of Lysander. Rather, for you, the better suitor is Demetrius. So he is a worthy man and her father's consent makes him worthier. At this, Hermia wishes that her father looked out with her eyes. Then, that's just wait. So now, the next question: elements of allegory in a Midsummer Night's Dream. Elements of allegory in a Midsummer Night's Dream. You know allegory? Allegory means a story or play, story, play, or picture in which each character or event is a symbol representing an idea or a quality, representing an idea or a quality. So, elements of
Hello.
allegory. Okay.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening.
Sir, ମୋର ଗୋଟେ query ଥିଲା କି ଆମେ ଇଂଲିଶ କ୍ଲାସରେ ଟିକେ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଡିସ୍କସନ୍ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କିଛି ଆପଣ ଯଦି କୁହନ୍ତେ that should may be better. Please, sir.
Okay. 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 Next time onwards. Okay. Because it's time to conclude now. So it's time to conclude now. So next time I'll try. Else I have to again try for that. Okay. We'll try.
So everyone okay with it or not?
Okay. Hello.
Sir,
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 actually, don't speak fully in sir, Odia. We actually, speak in English also.
Yes,
Okay.
I said.
actually, sir, we need notes. We cannot follow you. Actually, your speaking flow is very fast, and we cannot make notes. We need actually notes.
Notes I will give. I will give later on. As last
Yes.
class I told earlier, I have been saying I will help you
Hmm.
in giving you notes, but later
Hmm.
let's finish